Imagine being 15 years old, just trying to enjoy a chocolate bar at a local farmer's market, when suddenly you're surrounded by 6 grandmothers who look like and they start screaming at you that you're going to hell because bro, I wish I was making this up. This is the kind of drama that makes daytime soap, my friend. Grab your favorite snack and lean in, because the level of petty, calculated, and absolutely nuclear revenge we're talking about today. We are talking about a woman who didn't just burn a bridge. She salted the earth, nuked the site from orbit, and then sent a high-definition invoice for the damages. So let's set the stage. Our hero of the hour is a 46-year-old rock star mom who we're going to call the Queen of Receipts. This woman was the breadwinner, the glue of the family, and apparently the only one with a functioning moral compass. Last year, her life got flipped upside down when her ex-husband, let's call him Double Life Dave, decided to check out of this world in an accident. Now, death is tragic, obviously. No, he left behind a mess that was basically a radioactive dumpster fire. See, Dave had been cheating, and I'm not talking about a one-time mistake. He had a whole secondary life. He had an affair partner, and get this, they had 2 baby boys together. 2 whole children, and to make the tragedy even more chaotic, the affair partner also passed away. So suddenly, there are these 2 orphaned babies, a grieving widow, and 2 teenage daughters who were actually the one. Imagine being 17 and 15 and finding out your dad was a total fraud. That is some heavy, heavy trauma. The girls are in therapy, obviously, trying to process the fact that their dad wasn't who they thought he was, and they've got zero interest in being big sisters to the kids who represent the destruction of their family. And honestly, valid. That is a lot for a teenager to process. But wait, it gets worse. Enter the villains of our story, Dave's parents. Let's call them Grandma Gaslight and Grandpa Grifter. These 2 are 78 and 80, and instead of being supportive during this nightmare, they decided to go full tilt antagonist. They tried to sue for custody of the daughters, who are nearly adults, mind you, and they even hey, our son cheated on you and died, so can we have your guest room and your kids? The audacity is actually reaching low Earth orbit at this point. Naturally, the Queen of Receipts told them to kick rocks. She's fighting the custody thing in court, and the living situation was a hard, never in a million years. So, Grandma Gaslight and Grandpa Grifter did what any good Christian would do. They weaponized their church. Now, this church is one of those small-town hubs where gossip travels faster than fiber optic internet. They're the kind of people who judge you for your outfit, your car, and your soul. Probably in that order. Fast forward to last weekend, it was the youngest daughter's birthday. The Queen of Receipts takes the girls to the local weekend market. You know the vibe: fresh eggs, artisanal honey, farmers in overalls, and specifically, a lot of sweets. Since the actual party was later in the month, Mom gives the youngest some birthday cash and tells her to go wild on the chocolate. About an hour into the market trip, Mom gets that gut feeling. You know the one. That prickly feeling on the back of your neck that says something is very, very wrong. Just as she's reaching for her phone, it rings. It's her youngest daughter. She's sobbing. She's terrified. She tells her mom that the Queen of Receipts and the older sister sprint through the market, past the organic kale and the hand. 6 older women. This was the mob. These are the church ladies who think seniority gives them a license to be human garbage. They have this 15-year-old girl backed into a corner. They're calling her unchristian. They're berating her for not spending time with her grandparents. They're telling her she's a horrible person for not wanting to be a good big sister to the poor orphaned baby brother. A 15-year-old girl is minding her business, and a bunch of 70-year-olds think it's their holy duty to. The Queen of Receipts doesn't hesitate. She slides in there like a Secret Service agent, puts herself between her kid and the mob, and tells the oldest daughter to. Then she turns to the women. Some of them she actually recognizes from when she used to attend Grandma Gaslight's church. And she just lets them have it. She rips them a new one right there in the middle of the produce section. We're talking a legendary verbal beatdown, but these women, they're deep in the Kool-Aid. They actually tell her that she's the worst for refusing to obey her ex-in-laws like a good Christian wife. Barf. Literally, Dave is dead! What is— Eventually, the screaming gets so loud that the market organizers have— The Queen of Receipts marches to her car, and the mob follows her like a group of— She gets the girls out of there, but the damage is done. Her kids are shaken, their birthday was ruined, and she is officially done playing nice. That night, after she gets the girls settled, she goes online. She reaches out to a guy she knows from that church who isn't a total psycho. And he spills the tea. He tells her that Grandma Gaslight has been busy. She posted this massive Pulitzer-winning work of fiction in the church's private Facebook group. In this story, Grandma Gaslight claims that the Queen of Receipts and her daughters are leaving the elderly grandparents homeless and penniless, which is a total lie. By the way, because the in-laws actually inherited Dave's personal bank accounts and his life insurance money. They aren't poor. The part Grandma Gaslight had to explain where those two baby boys came from without admitting her perfect son was a serial cheater. So, she told the church that the kids were born via a surrogate because the Queen of Receipts was unable to have more children. And then she claimed that the Queen of Receipts rejected the babies because she didn't want boys. I'm not kidding. She accused this woman of being so heartless and sexist that she abandoned her own surrogate children because of their gender. This is the kind of lie that makes people want to throw hands. And of course, the extremist members of the church were eating it up, offering prayers and support. Now, here is where Grandma— See, this church has a very specific set of rules. They're judgmental about almost everything, but they have one massive, non-negotiable taboo: cheating. They are incredibly strict about infidelity. To them, an affair is the ultimate sin. By lying and saying it was a surrogate, Grandma Gaslight was trying to keep her son's reputation clean and keep their status in the church high. The Queen of Receipts realized she had the ultimate weapon. See, she had been in the middle of a divorce when Dave died. And when you're divorcing a guy like Dave, you keep receipts. You keep every text, every photo, and every piece of evidence of his double life. Because the divorce was never finalized due to his death, she had no legal gag orders, no non-disclosure agreements, and The next day, she goes into full sabotage mode. She heads to a local print shop. She doesn't just want copies, she wants quality. She pays extra for high-quality, glossy paper. She prints out the highlights of Dave's infidelity. Pictures of him and the affair partner, who, let's be clear, looks nothing like the Queen of Receipts. Different skin tones, different hair. It's impossible to mistake her for a surrogate. She prints the texts where Dave talks about his secret family. She prints the messages from Grandma Gaslight and Grandpa Grifter where they literally admit they know he's cheating. But the coup-de-grace, the absolute soul-crushing evidence, was a set of emails and texts. In these messages, the grandparents called their own granddaughters bastards. They told these grieving teenagers that it was their fault their father died because they were the ones who told their mother about the affair, which forced the divorce and put stress on him. They sent these messages 2 days after the man died. 2 days! The Queen of Receipts spends hours at home crafting what I can only describe as the binders of doom. She made them look like the little prayer song packets the church gives out for the congregation to sing hymns. They look innocent. They look holy. Inside the front cover, the very first thing you see is a high-def photo of double-life Dave and his affair partner making out in the living room. Underneath, in beautiful calligraphy, she wrote, "Dave and affair partner's name, a love story." On a Sunday morning, before the service starts, she makes her move. She knows there's a desk in the back of the church where people pick up songbooks if they forgot theirs. The ushers never check the contents, they just see the familiar covers. She swaps her binders of doom with the regular songbooks. Then, she walks out, sits in her car, and waits. The payoff was better than any movie. The gossip mill didn't just start, it exploded. Within an hour, the church's Facebook group, the same one where Grandma Gaslight posted her sob story, was a war zone. The holy harpies and the rest of the congregation were people were calling Dave and his affair partner things I can't even repeat on this channel. The names were so bad that the pastor himself had to jump into the comments section just to try and keep things PG-13. The surrogacy lie was dead. The poor, abandoned boy's narrative was replaced by the cold. But the biggest shift was the community's view of Grandma Gaslight and Grandpa Grifter. When the congregation saw the texts of them calling their granddaughters bastards and blaming them for their fathers, even the most judgmental members of that church couldn't get behind bullying grieving teenagers. The Queen of Receipts got what she wanted. The church members were still a bit preachy. They actually told her that while her divorce was still technically wrong, they understood the shock. But hey, she also got 2 formal apology letters in the mail for her daughters and an invitation to rejoin the church for support. She's obviously not going back. That's a massive win. And what? Oh, it's delicious. They were essentially shamed into exile. You can't be a leader in a church that views cheating as the ultimate sin when everyone has seen the receipts showing you encouraged it. They had to leave the congregation entirely. Grandma Gaslight made one final desperate post on her own Facebook wall, whining about how alienated she felt and how no one cares for the elderly anymore. She even had the nerve to say she wished her great son. The Queen of Receipts' reaction to that was I was the bread drop dead in the water. The grandparents are now isolated, living off the inheritance meanwhile, the 2 baby boys are living with some distant relatives of the ex-husband, away from the toxic influence of the grandparents. The Queen of Receipts and her daughters are finally in peace. The girls are continuing their therapy, they're feeling validated, and they know their mom has their back no matter what. They stayed strong, they kept the truth on their side, and they watched as the house of cards Grandma Gaslight built came crashing down in the most public way possible. So, let this be a lesson to all the church Karens out there. Before you send your mob to bully someone's children, you might, because if you're hiding a skeleton and you're up against, you're going to lose every single time. But honestly, the most insane part of this whole story to me is the surrogacy lie. Like, how deluded do you have to be to think you can pass off an affair child? It's the sheer arrogance of thinking you're so high and mighty that your lies will just be accepted as gospel. And seeing the mob follow her to the car? Imagine the confidence of 6 grandmas thinking they can intimidate a woman who has been holding her entire family together through an affair. They really brought a butter knife to a nuclear silo. The Queen of Receipts is my hero. She didn't stoop to their level of name-calling at the market. She just gathered the facts and presented them in a high-quality, glossy format. It's the professionalism of the revenge that gets me. She didn't just dump the info, she curated it. She made a love story binder. That is some next-level psychological warfare. And the fact that she did it at the church? Chef's kiss. Perfection. It's poetic justice at its finest. She used the very platform they were using to shame her to reveal the truth about them. It reminds me of that saying, the truth will set you free, but first, it's going to make you really, really famous in the church. Did the Queen of Receipts go too far by airing all that dirty laundry in the church? Or was this 100% personal opinion? If you come for the kids, you lose all rights to privacy. That's just the rules of the game. Grandma Gaslight played a stupid game and she won the ultimate stupid prize. Drop your verdict in the comments. Should she have just ignored them? Or was the binder of doom? I want to know whose side you're on. And if you want more stories of legendary revenge and people finally getting what's coming to them, smash that subscribe button. We've got plenty more where this came from. And trust me, the drama